Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Michael Miner, and I am the Executive Director of Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation and the Executive Director of Healthy Kids Mississippi. We welcome you today to our inaugural third Wednesday Parent Resource Chat. We certainly hope that as we go through this next about 45 minutes, that we'll be able to share some information that will be helpful for you and the things that you're doing in your family. Today, we want to be able for you to learn more about who Healthy Kids Mississippi is. We want to be able to share some things, some tips and tools for parenting in these times of this COVID-19 pandemic. And of course, we want to be able to share about options that you may have for health insurance for you and your family. Just before we start, we want to be able to say a couple things about some upcoming deadlines. I guess our announcements. So the first thing for those that are in the state of Mississippi, we want you to know that November 1st begins open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act. It goes from November 1st through December the 15th. And if you need more information or need assistance, you can call 662-298-3584. Again, that's 662-298-3584, or go to the website, getcoveredms.org. And also, as we're going through this session today, we want to remind you that if you or your children are not covered by health insurance in the state of Mississippi, we can help you. Again, you can call 662-298-3584, or you can email info@healthykidsms.org. We certainly want to do everything that we can for everyone that is eligible for coverage, gets covered in our great state of Mississippi. All right. If you have any questions, you can inbox us. You can type in the chat or the comment section. You can call us or you can email us. We want to be able to assist you with any questions you have about your coverage, any question you have about who Healthy Kids Mississippi is. Let me take a few moments now before we get started to introduce our most capable panelists today. All right. First, we have one of the sisters for Healthy Kids Mississippi, Ms. Mary Fenner, and she is physically located in the Sardis, Mississippi area. Welcome this morning, Ms. Fenner.
Good morning, everyone.
All right. Also joining us today is another one of our sisters located in the DeSoto County area, Ms. Bettina Campbell. Welcome, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you, Pastor. Good morning, everyone.
All right. All right. And then, as we trade places here, we're going to introduce our other panelist, who is the project administrator for our Healthy Kids Mississippi initiative, Miss Lottie Miner. Good morning, Lottie.
Good morning, everybody.
All right. And so at this time, we're going to turn it over to Lottie, who will give us an introduction, an overview for those of you across the state who are not familiar with who Healthy Kids Mississippi is. Following her, we will then hear from Ms. Fenner, who will share some information. We'll hear from Ms. Campbell, who will share information for parents about navigating the COVID-19 pandemic, and then Ms. Fenner on health insurance options. We'll have a Q&A section at the end, and again, we welcome everyone that's watching us on Facebook and also on YouTube. Now, we're in the hands of Ms. Miner.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome again. I know that Dr. Miner has already welcomed you, but I'll say it again. We're so glad you're taking time out to view us this morning. Invite someone else to watch. I think this is information that is important. I was speaking with Mrs. Fenner the other day, and she mentioned that so many people think that they do not qualify for Medicaid or CHIP. So because they have that misconception, sometimes it causes them not to do what they need to do. So we want to help to clear up some of the misconceptions about uh, what Medicaid and CHIP really are, and help people learn how to apply. So our role at Healthy Kids Mississippi is to do just that. We are a part of Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation Incorporated, a 501c3 organization that is faith-based nonprofit. And we are located in Hernando, Mississippi. However, we cover the entire state of Mississippi. Um, Oak Hill Regional CDC received funding from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Center for Medicaid and CHIP Services, Healthy Kids Funding Opportunity. So that's a mouthful. So basically what that means is our organization received federal funding from CMS to administer outreach, education, and enrollment for Medicaid and for CHIP. CHIP stands for Children's Health Insurance Program. This initiative operates as Healthy Kids Mississippi. And again, we have a statewide network and a 3-year grant period to do this work. Now, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? The first thing we want to do for Mississippians is to enroll uninsured but eligible children who are age 19 and under. The second thing we aim to do is to enroll uninsured eligible adults in Medicaid. The third thing, we want to better the estimated overall Medicaid and CHIP retention rate of 50%. What that means is right now, only 50% of the people who qualify for Medicaid and CHIP in the state of Mississippi keep their benefits. In other words, they're not retained on the program. And normally that's because of things that are preventable, things that we can help the person with as they walk through the process to re-enroll in their coverage or to keep their coverage. And then the fourth thing we want to do is we want to add and train additional health ambassadors every year. Who are health ambassadors? These are people across the state who are interested in helping Mississippi achieve what we like to call a culture of health. We want people across the state, and this is whether they qualify for Medicaid or CHIP or not. This is for everybody. We want people to control their blood pressure, have less of an incidence of diabetes and kidney failure, eat better so their cholesterol is not off the charts, have a healthy weight, have access to healthy foods, know where to find those foods, and know how to prepare them in an easy, cost-effective way. Just live healthier lives. Quality of life is so important. Healthy Kids Mississippi conducts our Medicaid and CHIP outreach and enrollment efforts through our headquarters team in Hernando. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we're statewide, so we have a statewide network of assisters. Our efforts include educating families about the availability of free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid and CHIP. We identify children likely to be eligible to enroll for these programs, and we assist families with the application and the renewal process. What that means is we use our network of assisters to reach out to anybody they can find who may qualify for Medicaid and CHIP, or who may be able to point us to somebody. So for those that are watching, if you know somebody, it might not be you. You might have health insurance through your employer, or you might be a senior citizen who has Medicare, or you may be a recipient of coverage through the Marketplace, Affordable Care Act / Obamacare. but you might know somebody, a church member, a relative, a friend. Those are the people that we're looking for, who we can share the information with, assist them with the application process, and help them keep and maintain their coverage by responding to whatever letters Medicaid sends them. So we're going to employ some different strategies to do this. Making phone calls, engaging schools, having webinars like this so that you can help us share the information. Bridging the coverage gap disparities that exist in certain populations. We know that teenagers oftentimes lose their coverage because of a plethora of things. We know that sometimes people who have limited English proficiency, for example, folks in the Hispanic population who do not speak English as well as we do, or who do not read and understand English as well as those of us who have English as a first language. Those individuals sometimes need help understanding what's being said to them in a Medicaid or CHIP letter that they may receive. And then finally, children who live in rural areas. Some people live in areas where they simply don't have access to different things, high-speed internet. They have to drive a long way to get to a doctor, so they can't look up healthcare information, or it's cumbersome to get to a provider's office if they live in a rural area. And then finally, establish and developing application assistance so that we can help people in these communities to apply and renew. So we work, Oak Hill Regional CDC works with Connecting Kids to Coverage National Campaign. That's the name of the federal government's campaign to get children and eligible parents or grandparents enrolled. Connecting Kids to Coverage is what it's called. And the two initiatives that we work on is post health insurance marketplace year-round applications. And then also we do back to school. So in other words, it is a year-round initiative to make sure that eligible people get the health coverage that they need. All right, that's my quick overview. Dr. Minor.
All right. That's our quick overview.
All right. So I think we have Sister Fenner, I believe, is next. Mrs. Fenner is next.
Sister Campbell.
Sister Campbell.
Miss Campbell.
Miss Campbell is next.
Miss Campbell's next.
So let me bring Miss Campbell up on the screen and remove myself from the screen, which is something I love to do. I love to take myself off the screen.
Now you start.
All right. Okay, and I believe we're sharing some information that you've provided for us, Miss Campbell.
Yes, please.
There we are. All right.
Thank you. I cannot actually see that. Can we make it just a little bit larger, please?
Is that better?
No.
It's not?
Thank you. Again, good morning, everyone. I really appreciate the information that Lottie shared with you, because it helps us to understand that today we are really wanting to talk to parents, and my role in this is to talk to you about how to work with your children more efficiently, so that you're not stressing out and they're not stressing out, and you having a happy home life. So we're going to talk a little bit about mental wellness, well-being in children. Next slide, please. And we're going to focus this particular webinar on what's going on with COVID and with children and their mental well-being and their physical well-being, and how it is affecting relationships in the home. So we know that everybody is stressed out. We know that indirectly adolescents and youth are affected, and they're getting sick, and they're not getting the care that they need. They're having social and emotional and mental well-being that's being impacted. But we know that if we provide them with the support that they need, they are resilient, and they will be able to handle the stress and rebound from a setback to our challenges. So that we know that if we give the kids the support and the love that they need and the resources that they need, that they will make it through this pandemic just fine. Next slide, please. when we're talking about COVID, we're thinking about how much, when you're talking to your kids, your young adults and your adolescents, I want you to be willing to talk to them about COVID. It's big secrets, keeping it a secret of what's going on in the family or what's going on in the world only confuses them and makes them afraid. So you have to be able to think about when you're talking to them from an age appropriate perspective, you, talk to them in language that they understand. And because you know your child and you know how best to explain it to them so that they will be able to fully understand and comprehend what's being said, and be honest with them, answer the questions truthfully. If they say, Mama, if Daddy, if this pandemic gonna be over next week, no, it's not. You're probably not going to be able to go visit your friends, or you're probably not going to be able to have go visit Grandma and Grandpa for Christmas, but we'll get through that. Be supportive, because they are scared and they are confused and they want to understand. They can't understand why they can't always do the things that they've always done. And so you just have to give them space to share their feelings, and to know that it's not okay for you to have, if you don't have all of the answers. There are people that you can reach out to. There are websites that you can visit, and you can get them the answers that they need. Next slide, please. When our children are home now, and oftentimes we may be unavailable to be right there with them, but we need to be as close as we can, or whoever is providing the care for them needs to be in a close distance for them. You can, in order to help them not spend so much time on computers, not spend so much time, of course, after they do their schoolwork, not spend so much time playing games or fighting with each other. You can read to your younger kids, read a book, or have them look at pictures. One of the things that is kind of obsolete now in a lot of ways with young people, there are photo albums that you have. Go through those photo albums, look at the pictures, share with them their ancestors or your history. Have them draw with crayons and pencils, and put those drawings up on the wall and show them how proud you are of what they've done. Dance with them, you can or have songs, but the most important thing is in all of this is you need, as a parent, as a care provider, you need to practice self-care, because while they're at moments when they're coloring, when they're drawing, or when they're doing their games or something where they're playing quietly, you take up some quiet time for yourself so that when they're ready for you, you're not all stressed out and you're not yelling at them. Next slide, please. Use positive words when instructing them. It helps to model the behavior that you're trying to get them to do, so that they may not truly understand what you're asking them to do. So kind of show them and walk them through this first time so that they can understand what you're doing. Don't shout, because it just makes you more frustrated and makes them angry, and then they get stubborn and they not do what you want them to do. And now you're fussing and pulling and tugging. Redirect the behavior that you want, and make sure that you are consistent in what you're telling them and how you're telling them, and use consequences. If you don't do this, then you won't be able to watch your cartoons, or you won't be able to play your game for X amount of time, and make those time frames reasonable and something that they can understand and be willing to do what they need to do in order to have those privileges. Praise them when they're behaving well. Teach your child about, we're going through this COVID, and it's important for them to understand why they need to keep safe distances, why they need to wash their hands, why they need to wear a mask. And if it's possible, if you live in a location where you can get your children outside safely, get them outside and let them run around and get rid of some of that energy. But the most important thing is to reassure your children that you're trying to keep them safe, that you're not doing this just to be mean to them, that you love them, that the COVID-19 is dangerous, and we want to make sure that they don't get sick. Next slide, please. Sometimes our children are talking to us And they're sitting right beside us talking to us, and oftentimes our mind is somewhere else, or we're concentrating on something else and we're not really listening to them. It's important that you listen to them and you listen to the suggestions that they share with you, and that you take it serious. We want to make hand washing and hygiene fun. Think about washing your hands for 20 seconds is what's recommended. Come up with songs that will allow for a 20-second span of time, and then show them, demonstrate for them how they should wash their hands to keep themselves safer. Give them praise for doing that. Make a game out of it so that you can see how many times that they're not touching their face, because if they're washing their hands and they have a mask on and they've been outside, or they've been wearing that mask for any length of time, germs can settle on the mask. So if they put their hands on the mask and then put their hands in their eyes or on their face, something, they defeated the purpose. So play games with them or reward them for the number of times that they don't. And if they catch you, then they should get a reward. So make it a back and forth kind of a thing. Highlight positive things that they did. Don't always be negative. Don't always be yelling at them. Don't do. Praise them when they do something good. And then at the end of the day, looking back over the day and you made it through okay, praise yourself for what you did well that day. Next slide, please. Now, we were talking about young people, and we're going to switch the lens now and kind of talk about adolescents or teenagers, which is already a rough age for them to be, which is already usually a yin and a yang between the parents and the children. So this change in routine, that it makes it harder for them to be able to accept what is going on now, because they gotta skip going to school, or being able to go hang out with their friends at the mall, or being able to go to do games or to the movies or whatever. Now they got to consistently wear masks when they are out in public, and they got to stay home. And so it's going to cause more stress, because developmentally they're at a stage where they're stressful anyway, and they have to learn how to deal with that. So now that you've got to pile this COVID-19 on top of that. So we have to help them to be able to take personal responsibility also for being able to protect themselves. So that means that you got to talk to them again. You got to listen to what they have to say. You have to explain, because there's so many different myths out there. You've got to be able to keep yourself educated so that you can explain to them what's real, so that they can take the responsibility and understand that it's not just about you, it's about the family and keeping the family safe. It's about making sure that grandma and grandpa, who are older and were susceptible to this virus, don't get exposed to it, because you're not doing your role in the family to be able to keep everybody safe. So we want to make sure that they understand that, and that they're willing to take on that responsibility. And you have to find safer ways for them to be able to connect with their friends, so that they can, and their family that's remote, so that they can have some kind of social life. Remember, when we say social distancing for young people, that means cut out all things. So if we say physical distancing, then they understand that there's a certain space that they have to keep between them and the next person, and why. Next slide, please. So again, we talk about there's a break in the continuity of learning, because now they are learning from home. They're having to sit in front of a computer to do their work or to listen to someone, and they have to be trained. That's not something that's easy, unless that was a part of their classes when they were in school, having to be able to learn and sit there and watch someone give them instructions off of a computer. That's not an easy thing to do. And so they're going to be challenged with that. And then let's face it, access to resources for a lot of those young people are not available. And so they're frustrated and they're scared, because they feel like they're getting behind, and their friends are going to be moving on to the next grade, and they're going to be left behind. And so you have to deal with that stress. It also, they're upset because those that are involved in sports, they may not be able to play their sports like they want to because of the physical contact. And so they're also scared because this is what they have been focused on, is being a good ball player or being a good tennis player or being a good cheerleader, because there are scholarships that are available, or music for enhancing their music ability or enhancing their photography ability, because there are scholarships that they were counting on to be able to go to school, to be able to improve their quality of life. So that's a frustration for them. That is a resentment for them. So it causes anxiety and it causes depression. And so we have to be mindful of that and be aware that there are opportunities where we can step in and be able to reduce that stress, to improve that depression, so that our children are still having a quality life within the spectrum of COVID. They're anxious about going back to school because they don't know what that's going to be like. I would share a little situation where on the other group, another group that I'm in, we are having live webinars with our children to try to find out, our teenagers, from their perspective, what do they think about COVID, and what do they think about going back to school, physically going back to school or not. And one young lady raised the issue of, if you can't protect us from getting a common cold or from getting lice, how are you going to keep us safe from COVID? So they're thinking about these things. Don't think that they're not. So it's important that you talk to them, that you have honest answers for them. And if you don't know, don't be afraid to say that you don't know. Because again, when we don't talk, when we share misinformation, that causes anxiety, it causes resentment, it causes depression. So we want to make sure that we are avoiding those type of situations and being as open and as honest and as supportive as we can be. And a lot of us, not only the kids, but a lot of us, we just have Zoom fatigue. They're tired of sitting there in front of their computer. They want to be able to interact, and especially those young people who are, in fact, all of us, young or old, who are seasoned, I should say, excuse me, who are constantly having to deal with a virtual reality that we live in now. We get tired of sitting there on Zoom or whatever platform that we're on, watching somebody talk at us or talk to us. So we have to realize that and be prepared to deal with that also. Next slide, please. Again, because they're missing significant life events like their graduation, their prom, their football games that they've been, that homecoming game that they wanted to go to, weddings that they may have been looking forward to, or the birth of a new cousin, or the death of family members. We need to be able to have them to have other ways that they can participate in events like that. One of the things that we do at our church, for instance, is that the pastor and his team do drive-by home visits just to go check on people to make sure that they're okay. Have them be able to do a drive-by for their friends to see how their friends are doing, or a drive-by baby shower. Let them participate in as many distancing activities as they can participate in safely or safer, and encourage them to do that, and not be angry because it's not the way that they want it to be, and they can't hang out in person, but they can hang out virtually, have birthday parties virtually, have baby showers virtually, whatever, just plan a set time that they can be able to get with their friends every day or every other day or once a week or whatever fits into your schedule and your child's schedule and their friend's schedule, that will allow them to continue to have some kind of interaction with their friends and be involved. And then in terms of grief, help them to understand that it won't always be like this. that we can still, you can still do the drive-bys, you can still do you can still go to the cemeteries and stand from a distance and observe, or you can just have a special service yourself at home that day for your family member. And some families are doing Zoom funerals. So there are things that they can do to help them to feel more engaged and more involved, and not feel like they have totally given up or totally checked out on life. Again, because some of the family members, like the care providers, the mom, the dad who have jobs, because of the COVID, many of them may be losing their jobs, or they be reduced hours, and so their income is not the same. And so the kids, the young people are aware that there are changes in the family and there are struggles in the family. Be open with them, be honest with them, talk about it, and listen to them. They may have suggestions to how that you can make that situation better. They're being more exposed to abuse and neglect, and we say intimate partner violence, because all young people don't necessarily stay home with their parents. They may be involved in relationships. If they're 18, they're 19, and so you need to check on your children. Make sure that they are okay. If they're living in the home with you, that's an easy check. But if they're living away from you in situations for whatever reason, check on them. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Let them know that they can come home. Let them know how in the situation that they're in. We want to, because they're spending now so much time on their computers, we want to make sure that we have controls in place for our smaller children, so they can't go out and visit sites that they have that are detrimental to their health or well-being, because there are so many predators out there now waiting to exploit them or bully them. So we want to make sure that they're visiting the right sites. Our young people, because they are bored, if they're really computer literate, they may be on there gambling or going into different sites where they're getting information that's not necessarily good for them to know, or that may be causing them to have some thoughts that may be detrimental to them. So we want to make sure that you're monitoring them. It's okay to monitor your children. It's okay to say, hey, well, let me sit here and watch what you're doing for a minute. What's that? What's that? That doesn't sound like a channel that I want you to be on. So I thought I had all the parental controls in place, but evidently I didn't. So I'm going to up that control. They may get angry, but then have an honest conversation with them about why you're doing it, and that you're still just trying to keep them safe and secure. And that can be easy if you're having a trustworthy relationship with the children, and you're having open communication, and you're watching for behavior changes. Next slide, please. So to kind of sum it all up, we want to make sure that we are helping them to maintain as normal a routine as possible. We're talking to them and listening, and we're encouraging them to give us feedback, to talk back to us. When my children were growing up, I always told them that they could talk to me and that they could say whatever that was on their minds, as long as they said it in a respectful way, that I would listen to what they had to say. But at the end of the day, this was not a democracy, it was a dictatorship, and I was a dictator, meaning that if what they're saying or what they're wanting to do is something that's going to put them in harm's way, I reserve the right to say no to those things, and to then to explain why. You teach them again the steps for taking the simple steps for how they're going to keep themselves healthy, like hand washing, wearing masks, and physical distancing. Be alert to changes in their behavior. If they're sleeping more, if they're eating more, if they're angry, or if they're a child that's always been careful about how they look. They've been meticulous about their appearance and stuff, and all of a sudden they don't care anymore. Then those could be signs that your child is getting into trouble. So you want to watch those, and you want to respect their privacy and the right to have some alone time, because they're used to being with their friends and not around family members all the time. And so they need some time to reflect and to think. So learn their world and learn how to respect them, and to reassure them that everything that what the scientists are doing, what the government is doing, the local government is doing, and what you are doing is all about keeping them safe and secure. Next slide. So I think I've covered much of this, except for to say that if they're experiencing intense worry or sadness, or they have prolonged feelings of depression, and it's disrupting their ability to cope for everyday life, you want to seek professional help. And next slide. These are some resources that will be posted that you'll be able to get a fuller understanding of the information that I've shared with you, or if the questions come up that I have not covered, you can go to some of these sites to be able to be able to have the resources to help you to talk to your children and to provide them with the knowledge and the information that they need to better understand what's going on in their world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Campbell. We appreciate that. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Good information. Parents, please take heed to this. This is so important. Let's share this with other people. If you know someone that is not on the webinar today, share it with them, because this is all important. In your houses of worship, share this information with groups of children. If you can't get to every individual parent, take this information that Ms. Campbell has given and share it with, again, houses of worship, other organizations that you're in, so that all parents will know how to help their children in this unusual time. Let's move to Ms. Mary Finner, who is going to talk now a little bit about health insurance options that are available. Ms. Finner.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about some of the health insurance options that are available. First, I would like to talk about Medicaid and the CHIP program. Medicaid is for children from the ages of birth through 18. Once you turn 19, you're no longer eligible for that particular Medicaid program. Also, it's for adults who are in a lower income bracket or unemployed, living with someone, then they also may be eligible for Medicaid. The CHIP program is for children whose parents' income is in a higher level, and they may not be eligible for Medicaid, but they may fall into the CHIP bracket. So if you feel like you in that bracket or any bracket, if you're not unsure, it's always best to apply. Then you'll know whether you're eligible or not. So just apply for it. And if you applied before and you were not approved, you can always apply again. If your income has changed, or if you feel like there's a difference in your income or anything like that, or if you lost income, you need to apply for Medicaid for your children. And also you may be eligible for yourself. Also, another program with the Medicaid is family planning. And that's for anyone from the age of 19 through 44 who are still able to have children. And that program is through the health department. And you can call your local health department, or you can call the central office, and they can let you know where the health department is. Also, they can let you know of all the services that they provide, and it's for male and females. So if you're curious and want to know about what they offer males, you can always call, and their number is 601-576-7400. And that's the central office for the health department. They also can let you know where the different health departments are. Another program that at the Family Planner, there also is a Medicaid program for adults ages 65 and older. If you're disabled or if you're in a lower income bracket, you may be able to get assistance with Medicaid after the age of 65. You can always check with the Central Medicaid office. The number is 800 421 2408, and they can let you know if you're eligible, or the office, or how, give you local number office, and or you can call our office. Our number is 662 298 3584. And you call us and we can help you apply for Medicaid. If we're not able to help, we to direct you to the right program, the right organization. Also, I want to say a little bit about the ACA. Open enrollment begins November the 1st, as Dr. Miner has said earlier, and ends December 15th. Now, ACA it's the Affordable Care Act. Also, is for people, anyone that doesn't have health insurance, you can apply for the Affordable Care Act. And so if you're interested in applying for that, the number is 662 298 3584. You can call our office. Also, if you've had health insurance through the Affordable Care Act before, you also need to reapply for the coming year, 2021. So it's important that if you had it before, that you contact our office, 662 298 3584, so you can reapply for the Affordable Care Act, for health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. I also want to talk about the different community health centers. If you're not eligible for health insurance or you don't have health insurance, you also can go to one of the community health centers, and they have a sliding scale that you can use, and you may be able to get services and resources from them. Their number, the central office number for the community healthcare centers, is 601 981 1817. And if you don't remember that number, you can always call our office, 662 298 3584, and we can direct you to the right community health center. I'm thinking, okay, I think that's about it of all that I wanted to talk to you about today. It's the Medicaid program, the CHIP program, family planning, the ACA, and the community health centers. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Fenner. Great information about different insurance options. So parents, I hope this is helping you. We've had these two ladies who are very skilled in the information that they've given to us. Ms. Fenner spent many, many years working in the Medicaid office, so she knows the ins and outs of the process from firsthand experience. Ms. Campbell has spent her career as a medical social worker, so she fully understands the gamut of mental health issues that happen in our society, and especially as we deal with COVID. So thank you both, ladies. We appreciate the information. We're going to move to our question and answer section. I'm going to put both of you on the screen with me so that I'm not spotlighted, because spotlight is not my favorite thing. And so we're going to share the wealth of the camera here, and we have some questions that Dr. Miner has been given. People have posed these questions. He's going to read them, or I'm going to read them, and you all can answer if it fits your area of expertise.
All right, since you can understand my writing, I'll read the question. I guess it's for you, Sister Bettina. What if my kid has talked about suicide?
I think you're muted.
I'm sorry. If your child has talked about suicide, then you need to get that child some help immediately. Don't think that they're playing or that they don't understand what they're saying, because children do complete suicide. So you want to have a conversation with them to make sure that they're not just upset and angry and just talking. But if you gotta find out, what's going on with them, and if you were to attempt suicide, how would you do it? When would you do it? And if they can answer those questions, then you need to call the emergency room, or you need to take a call and make an appointment. I would take them to the emergency room first, because you may not be able to get in to see a therapist right away. So you can also call the suicide hotline. But again, if a child is threatening to take their life, then that's something that you want to take real serious, and you want to get them the help that they can get as fast as possible.
Okay.
We're talking about children here, but the same thing applies to an adult.
Yes.
Or an adolescent.
And don't be afraid to don't be afraid to ask the question. Are you thinking about taking your life? Because if they are, it's not going to, if it's not crossed their mind, then they're going to look at you like you losing your mind and ask you, what? No, that's not what I meant. But if they are, they will be probably relieved that you ask, and will answer the question as honestly as they can.
All right. Next question. I guess it's for Sister Fenner. I'm not working. I have no income. What are my health insurance choices?
You're muted, Sister Fenner.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if you're not working and you don't have any income, it's a possibility that you may be eligible for Medicaid for yourself. They do have programs for adults that are on low income or no income, but you just have to, if you just lost your job, then you have to show proof that you're no longer working. If you're living with someone, their income does not count towards you, so you don't have to worry about that person, but you do need to let them know that you are living with someone, because they are going to want to know how you're supporting yourself. And you can always say that you're living with someone if that's the case.
All right. Next question. I'm afraid of catching coronavirus. How can I get help without being face-to-face? I guess it's about signing up for insurance.
Oh, me? Oh, okay. You can contact our office. If you need us to drop you off an application, we can. We're also practicing safe distancing, social distancing, so we'll have masks and gloves as necessary, so you won't be afraid to catch coronavirus, because we're going to protect you as well as ourselves.
All right, and this is the last question I have here. It says, I just found out I'm pregnant and I have no insurance. What can I do?
Oh, you can always apply for the Medicaid. Apply for Medicaid, because there is a program for women that are pregnant. So you can always apply, and you should be eligible. Just the same thing goes, income. If you live with someone, you need to let them know that you're living with someone. Their income will not count towards your income if you are an adult. Now, if you're a child or you're under a certain age, then they may want to know your parents' income. But overall, you should be eligible.
All right. That's all the questions I have, Lottie.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Miner. That is going to bring our webinar to a close. Today, we thank Ms. Mary Fenner. We thank Ms. Bettina Campbell. We thank Dr. Michael Miner and the entire Oak Hill Regional CDC team for all the work that they've done for this webinar, as well as the daily work that they do for Get Covered Mississippi, which is the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and for Healthy Kids Mississippi, which is Medicaid and CHIP. We are here to serve. Again, our phone number, I'll cover my face so you can see the screen. Our phone number is 662-298-3584. There is someone available to answer that phone every day. Once Open enrollment begins for the Affordable Care Act on November 1st. That phone line will be available until 8 p.m. Right now, it stops around 4:30 and voicemail would be the option. And we try to return all calls within 24 hours. Again, beginning November 1st, our hours will be 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 on Fridays, and 9 to 1 on Saturdays from November 1st through December 15th. Right now, it's 10 a.m. to 4:30, Monday through Friday. All right. If you want to email us, info@healthykidsms.org, and that is on your screen. That's how you get in touch with us for Healthy Kids. All right. So again, we thank you all for listening. The numbers are posted in the chat. The Medicaid office number, 1-800-421-2408. The main number for the health department central office, they can direct you to the location nearest you, 601-576-7400. And then the main number for the fairly qualified community health centers, which are a superb option for people who are insured as well as uninsured, is 601-981-1817. And they have centers strategically located throughout the state. Thank you all. Again, thank you, Ms. Fenner, and thank you, Ms. Campbell and Dr. Miner. Thank you, everyone who listened or watched this morning. Have a wonderful rest of the day and be safe.